Spent the last 4 years managing email, SMS, and retention for 7, 8, 9-figure brands, generated $52 million in the process. And in that time, I've been inside hundreds of Klaviyo accounts. I've seen the same patterns show up over and over across every brand that scales and across every brand that stays stuck. So in this video, I'm exposing everything. The patterns that actually move the needle, the stuff that you are wasting your time on, and the things that separate a brand that does 10% in email revenue versus the ones doing 40. All of it compressed into one video, quick fire. Let's get it. Pattern 1, the pop-up is the biggest unlock that nobody fixes. Every single time we get inside of a new account, the pop-up is doing about 2 to 3% average opt-in rate. Typically, for a fast scaling store, you want to aim for at least 8 to 10%. The math on this is insane, and you're going to see why it makes sense, because a pop-up that does 3% versus one that does 9%, you're getting 3 times the amount of people inside of your list. Now, is every single person going to have the same buying intent? No, that's out of the question. Let's say that by getting 3 times the amount of people, you're essentially going to double your flow revenue, and you might increase your campaign revenue by 30-40%. The reason why is obviously there is growth, but there comes a point where you have diminishing returns. If you've grown your list from 100K people to 500K, it doesn't mean your campaigns are going to go from 2K to 10K magically. Typically, we see those campaigns ending up doing 5 to 6K, and then you need to go into purge mode again. The problem that we see on pop-ups is not necessarily the design or the copy, but sometimes it is the design, because you're asking for way too much on step 1. It's the offer. One brand that we work with, just to give you an illustration, an actual example, one of the main things that we did on the pop-up was 15% off. It was too big of a hit on margin. Then we went 10% off, opt-in rate wasn't that good. Then we did mystery discount for 11% off. That was good, but there was still hit on margin on orders above 70 to 80, right? Because the average AOV was sitting around there. The ones spending 30 to 40, that was fine. That was negligible margin hit, but the ones doing more, you're actually losing quite a lot of profit per customer, because whenever you give a discount, you're not actually giving a percentage off of your revenue, you're giving a percentage off of your profit. It's actually a bigger chunk. So for example, if it says 15%, you're probably giving away 20-25% of your profit just to get that customer over the line. But what we ended up on is the free gift. So opt-in rates stayed the same as our best performing offer, and since that free gift costs $2, there was virtually 0 margin hit the bigger the orders got. So that was just one of the examples of one of the brands that we worked with. And one quick tip that I can give you is always do a $1 off amount rather than a percentage if the orders are above $100 AOV. $25 off always is going to sound better than 10% off, even if the order is $400. Make it make sense, it just works. Second pattern, brands that do at least 30% of their revenue from email send 3 to 4 times a week. Is this a myth or a fact? It's a fact. Now, it doesn't mean that you're sending the 4 emails to the same people every single time, but it means that instead of your campaign calendar, you got at least 4 cents per week. And with a bit of segmentation playing around, you're able to essentially hit everyone at the right time and stay top of mind. The brands sitting at 10% in email and SMS revenue are the ones saying, I'm going to annoy my list. It's actually the opposite. And you're probably going to relate to this. How many times have you gotten an email from a brand that you've probably subscribed to 1 year ago, and you just got their first email now and you're like, don't recognize these guys at all? Click report spam. Meanwhile, if you get a brand that emails you daily, you might not open them, but at least you know that they're going to be in your inbox and you're not really going to report spam. That sort of long game is actually going to help. At some point you will buy, or you're just going to get cut off the list. Plus, the frequency only works if the content's different every single time. If you're just going to batch blast 20% off to everyone, it's not a good look for you, not a good look for your email list, and not a good look for your revenue or your P&L. Pattern 3, 80% of flow revenue comes from emails 2 and 3 of every single flow. In most flows, the first 2 to 3 emails are the ones that generate the most revenue, and that is where most of your testing focus should go. Most brands add more emails to a flow thinking that's what fixes performance, but there are 2 caveats to this. Number 1, if your conversion rate drops below, let's say 0.1 or 0.2% on the final email, it's a matter of all of the emails, including that one and the previous ones, needing to be reworked to improve. If it is above that, feel free to extend the flow. Email 1 of your welcome series is the most important one, and you should be testing this every single month. And the subject line and the offer also need to be congruent. So there's something which is called the curiosity gap. So I get a good subject line, does the email content match it? If the email content is completely different, then your CTR will decrease and your place order rate will decrease, because you cannot have sales without people on your website, right? Makes sense. Real quick before we continue, if you want us to handle your email and SMS marketing completely done for you, just book a call with me personally through the first link in the description. Now let's get back into it. Most brands only email their list when they want something. One of the biggest patterns that I've noticed is that sales are low, forecast low, let's send a big discount, or here's a new product. Here's the launch. And then that's it. Radio silence for the rest of the month. That is not how you should be operating your email program. See, if you're a brand that's actually scaling and you want that 35%, 40% of revenue coming through email, showing in your dashboard, real numbers, not some inflated attribution, then you know that the brands that send the most are always in the customer's inbox, and they're the ones that people are going to buy from. Right? Simply because people will remember them. And these brands stay in the inbox, whether there's a sale or a product drop or not. Right? There's customer education, reviews, testimonials, FAQs, so many content angles that you can mine. And it's pretty easy to add diversity into your calendar. Just try it, get a few ideas, paste those over into Claude with a combination of all your reviews, and then ask it to generate 30 to 40 topics. There you go. And then from there, it's all a matter of sending all of those out in order, seeing what sticks, and then those are your winners. Keep iterating on them. The rule that we follow across all of our accounts, 80% of the sends basically have no promo or discount attached. Sometimes they might if we're sending to non-buyers and we just attach a banner reminding them of their welcome discount. But everything else, just make sure that it's purely educational, value-based, something that people look forward to when it comes to opening your emails. Even if your brand language is a bit more funny, just do like a funny email. That's cool. Like, people like to open an inbox, have a bit of a laugh. They're going to remember you. Because if you're doing discounts every single day, you're number one, killing your margin, number two, killing your list. And if you have no ideas, here's a quick hack. Your past winners are the best emails inside of your account. People are not going to remember an email that they got 3 to 6 months ago. So go ahead and resend that bad boy with a different subject line, or even the same one if it did that well. Pattern number 5, segmentation is number 1, underused, number 2, overused. The number one thing that brands say when they want better results is we need better segmentation. 9 times out of 10, the problem is offer and frequency and not necessarily segmentation. And the brands that tell you that you need 40 to 50 segments inside of your account, number 1, they're either doing 10 million a month, or they just don't know who to hit at the right time. Because if you want a simplified version, all you need to know is your main engaged segment, aka how big can your engaged segment be without your deliverability failing or going below certain thresholds when it comes to your open rate, click rate, placed order rate. But the most important one obviously is going to be your placed order rate or revenue %. Because if you're just going to base the performance of your email program based off of open rate and click rate, you're just basically focusing on vanity metrics when the main thing that matters is revenue. But back into the simplification of segments, engaged segment, lapsed customers, VIPs, people who maybe need a bit of re-engaging. I'm not talking about the lapsed ones. Lapsed basically means they bought from you, but they haven't in a while. And then also your buyers and non-buyers, also split by frequency when it comes to the buyer. For example, just when you're making a flow, your non-buyers should make sure that their welcome discount is visible on every single email. Even if that specific email is a normal site abandonment one, just drop them a banner reminding them that they have an unused discount code. It's always going to do more good than harm. So try it out. Post-purchase flow is the most neglected revenue channel in Ecom. Very big fact, very big pattern. The window right after someone buys is the highest engagement one. And what we've seen from the reports that we're sending every single month to our clients is that in terms of the repurchase rate, most of them happen within the first 30 days, right? So about 60% happen then. If you think about it, if you have a 20% recurring customer rate and 60% of those are done in the first 30 days, that means 12% of people buy then. That's when the biggest part of your post-purchase flow should be focused. And if you already have them fresh, they're already checking their inbox for a sign of life from you, especially in the first 3 days or any specific day before they got their order, right? This is your window. Number 1, create brand affinity. Number 2, to actually educate them. Number 3, to invite them to be part of a community. Doesn't matter even if you have them or not, just say thank you for joining, right? And then from there, depending on the data that you have, which you can get with higher analytics or by connecting the Claude MCP to your specific account, you can see how long it takes for someone to buy, right? Aside of the normal 30-day window. And at that point, that's where you need to put your cross sells, aka the best offers that you've tested across all the year. the ones that people usually have a high take rate on in cart at checkout, or even post-purchase on a specific page if you have that. And that is where you need to send an email that is congruent with those specific offers. Replenishment emails are also very overlooked for consumable brands. Timing an email to go right when a customer is running out of product is one of the most powerful things that you can do, especially if you're omni-channel and you send an SMS to pair with it as well. And one thing worth saying is a lot of people do mention the win-back flow as being super important, but most people just rely on it as like a safety net. Your post-purchase flow should be good enough that you don't even need a win-back flow, right? I said it. So you can go plaster my face all over saying this guy does not believe in win-back flows. I do, but if you're going to send it to 50K people, you might make 2, 3, 4, 5,000 when you can actually improve the offers you have in your post-purchase flow and get a much better return. Pattern 7, the offer is the biggest lever inside of your email program, and most brands never test it. Again, something I see all the time. Copy gets tested, design gets tested, the button color gets tested, first name personalization gets tested, the words that you're using, whether it's claim my discount, claim your discount, that gets tested, but the offer is always left behind. I wonder why. Because it's responsible for the biggest amount of revenue that you can ever generate from a single email or an SMS. We've seen the same email, same subject line and everything completely outperform the control version just by changing the offer. Percentage off versus dollar off versus mystery gift. Like, the possibilities are endless, and if you're not testing this, you're leaving a lot of money on the table. Most brands pick one offer once and then they never test it out. So it's more of a, let's choose this offer and let's run until my brand goes bankrupt. That's obviously not you, because you're watching this video, you know exactly what you need to dial in. You're not surface level, so you probably have 2 to 3 good offers that you're running at this point, whether that's top of funnel or bottom of funnel post-purchase, but you know that there's different levers that you can play with. So go ahead and test those offers, and you can use email as a testing ground for it. Because if something hits nicely on a campaign, try it top of funnel if your margins allow it. Pattern number 8, deliverability problems are always a list hygiene problem. I can also say that this is true, but there's 2 ways that you can approach this. Number 1, just cut people off who haven't been opening your emails. The time frame and the amount of emails is up to you, but also make sure that you split it by buyers and non-buyers. I'm much more eager to cut a non-buyer than a buyer. Always much more tempted to send a Hail Mary to a buyer rather than someone who's never interacted with your store, let alone place an order. And then the second thing, make sure you have webhook suppress flow, right? You don't have to be the one always sending out re-engagement campaigns or waiting for something to miraculously happen for you to be able to cut them. A lot of people put, you know, the crown on the sunset flow, but what is sending another email to someone who hasn't opened 20 going to do? What you need to do is just do an auto suppression flow through a webhook. That's just going to clean your list automatically. Your deliverability is going to go up, and you can thank me for this one later. Pattern 9, email is one of the few marketing channels that you own. Also true. Every dollar that you spend on ads, that should be coming back to you. 2 brands with the same traffic and ad spend can be getting completely different results based on what they're doing with their owned channel. And Meta can raise prices tomorrow. They can just double your CPAs because they feel like it and because you're over reliant on it. The algorithm can also change overnight. And yeah, SMS, direct mail, WhatsApp, these are also things that you own, but your email list is the foundation. For example, 43% of Americans still use email as one of their primary information sources. So no, it's not something that we're leaving behind in 2020, but it's just something that is getting more and more people into it every single day. So if there's any disruption when it comes to your paid traffic, just know that email is always going to be there for you. And if you do everything right, it's going to be the thing that separates you from not making any profit to making a boatload of profit. And the final one, AI is changing how accounts are managed. I'd be a bit 50-50 when I say this one, but the things that we use AI for is the boring stuff. The things that we didn't want humans doing anyway, pulling the data, but then obviously cross-checking it just to make sure it's not hallucinating. The unlock is just basically using AI for the analytical part and then using humans for strategy. Because for example, if you have people on your team who are over-reliant on AI, who can't think, who haven't seen behind the scenes of brands just like yours, like your competition or the ones that you aspire to be, and can't come up with strategies or hypotheses that they want to test without relying on AI first, that's not a person. That's just someone that can be replaced by AI. And the brands winning right now, like, they're not fighting AI. They're using it to the best potential, but they're using it to just take the boring work, make it less boring, and actually filter all of the information that you get from your CRM or any other platform that you're using for your owned channels, and pulling that data from that and building human-backed decisions on top of it. So these are the 10 patterns I've pulled from 4 years of experience doing this. Every single one of these shows up repeatedly across accounts, across different niches and revenue level. And if you want us to apply all of this for your brand completely done for you, just book a call personally with me through the first link in the description. And if you want the full system behind everything covered, flows, campaigns, segmentation, design, copy, all of it, I put together a free 1-hour course. Just click the video appearing on your screen right now. So that's it for this video. See you on the next one.